Welcome to AI World TV, your go-to destination for everything artificial intelligence. Discover the captivating landscape of AI, where advanced technology finds real-life application. Subscribe to AI World TV for webzine articles, reports, podcasts, videos, live events, and latest trends. Hear from top industry leaders and discover how AI is transforming industries and our daily lives.
Imagine just finding out that the person sitting right next to you at work, like someone with the exact same title, the exact same responsibilities as you.
Yeah.
Imagine they're suddenly finishing their entire week's workload by, I don't know, Tuesday afternoon.
Wow. Tuesday.
Right. And they aren't working longer hours. They aren't fundamentally smarter than you. They're literally just doing the exact same job in a fraction of the time.
Because they know how to actually manage a machine that, frankly, you only know how to chat with.
Exactly. So if you are listening to this right now and your main use for AI is typing, summarize this article into a blank text box, you are exactly who we're talking to today.
Because we are looking at a landscape where the sheer novelty of artificial intelligence is just, it's officially dead.
Yeah, the magic trick is over. The competitive advantage isn't just having access to an AI model anymore. It is knowing the actual mechanics of how to use it.
Right. The gap between access and fluency is really the defining economic shift of this exact moment.
Which is our mission for today's Deep Dives. We are exploring the mechanics of this massive transition, and we're using a really fascinating new piece published today, April 5, 2026, in the AI World Journal.
A great publication.
It is. It's an article by Sydney Armani, and it's titled The Rise of the AI Skills Economy, Anthropic Launches Free Claude Training. So, okay, let's unpack this, because Armani argues that the next massive leap in the AI revolution isn't going to come from, a new model with 1 trillion more parameters.
Right.
It relies entirely on the people working alongside the models we already have.
Yeah, Armani's central thesis kind of zeroes in on a painful reality for most companies right now.
What's that?
Well, simply purchasing enterprise licenses,
Sure.
placing an AI tool in front of an employee that doesn't automatically grant them the ability to extract value from it.
Oh, totally.
The whole industry is just scrambling to address this adoption gap. We are staring down the reality of daily application now.
Yeah. I was reading this, and the visual that kept popping into my head was a grand piano.
Okay, a piano.
Yeah, like imagine you wake up one morning and someone has delivered a beautiful concert-grade grand piano right into the middle of your living room.
Sounds nice, actually.
Right, and your neighbor has one too. Everyone on your street suddenly has a grand piano.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you have access to the instrument, that doesn't make you Mozart.
No, definitely not.
You can sit down, you can bang on the keys, make a lot of noise. You can probably figure out how to play chopsticks on your own.
Yeah.
But right now, asking an AI to write a polite email to my boss is the equivalent of playing chopsticks.
That's a great analogy. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, what we are witnessing is the birth of a new foundational professional requirement.
Okay, say more about that.
Let's look back to the late 1980s and early 90s when computers first entered the workplace at scale.
Oh, yeah.
Initially, knowing how to set up a spreadsheet or use a word processor, that was a highly specialized, really niche skill.
You were the computer person.
Exactly. But within a remarkably short window, basic digital literacy became an absolute non-negotiable prerequisite for just participating in the modern economy.
Right. You couldn't even get your foot in the door for a job without it.
According to the article, AI literacy is following that exact same aggressive trajectory. It's moving from a hobbyist skill to a baseline expectation for the modern knowledge worker.
But, here's the friction. If the baseline is rising that fast and everyone's job is suddenly at risk of being outpaced by the person who knows how to play the piano, where are we supposed to learn this?
Right.
Because you can't exactly drop everything and go back to a university for a 4-year degree in prompt engineering.
No, nobody has time for that.
And honestly, the interface itself doesn't help at all. Like a spreadsheet at least has buttons and menus that hint at what it can do.
Formats, formulas, that kind of thing.
Yeah. An AI interface is just a blank text box blinking at you. It gives you zero clues about its capabilities.
That blank box is intimidating, which is exactly why Anthropic is stepping in to build the curriculum themselves.
which is huge.
It is. They are attempting to aggressively lower the barrier to entry by launching this new series of training programs. And it starts with a comprehensive, completely free introductory course.
Right, I saw that. It's at anthropic.skilljar.com, I think.
That's right. And this goes far beyond like a 5-minute YouTube tutorial. It's a structured program that walks users through core functional capabilities.
Like what?
Advanced research synthesis, complex problem solving, analytical writing, and importantly, it provides a verifiable completion certificate.
Oh man, that certificate is going to be the new proficient in Microsoft Office line on every single resume.
Oh, without a doubt.
But it's the next tier of their training that I really want to dig into. It's an advanced track called the Introduction to Claude Cowork program.
Yes.
This is where they teach users to treat the AI as a collaborative productivity partner. They use things like reusable instructions, plugins, and task-based workflows. Now, I have to be honest with you. When I read the phrase task-based workflow, I actually groaned out loud.
Really? Why is that?
Because, like, the whole reason I use Claude is to save time.
Right.
If I have to spend 20 minutes feeding it documents, setting up rules, and structuring some multi-step workflow, I might as well just write the project proposal myself.
Sure, I hear that a lot.
Isn't this defeating the core promise of the technology?
Yeah.
I want the magic oracle where I type a quick question, hit enter, and the machine just does the heavy lifting immediately.
So this is actually the biggest misconception we see. And what's fascinating here is how the article dismantles that exact oracle myth.
The oracle myth.
The idea that you just ask a simple question and get a perfect finished product, that's the primary reason people get frustrated with AI.
Because it's never perfect.
Exactly. When you treat it like a one-time search engine, you get generic, surface-level, incredibly boring results. You basically get the AI equivalent of elevator music.
That's incredibly accurate.
To get professional-grade output, you have to shift from a transactional mindset to a managerial one.
Okay, so break down the mechanics of that. What does shifting to a managerial mindset actually look like in practice?
Let's use your project proposal example.
Okay.
If you want a proposal, the chopsticks approach is just typing, write a 5-page project proposal for a new marketing campaign.
Right, which I've definitely done.
And the output will be structurally fine, but totally hollow.
Wow.
The co-working methodology, which this new training really focuses on, teaches you to guide the system through structured, multi-step tasks. You don't just ask for the final product right away.
So what do you do first?
First, you upload an initial document, say a messy hour-long transcript of a brainstorming meeting you just had.
Okay.
You tell Claude, extract the 3 core themes from this transcript. Do not write the proposal yet.
Oh, so you're forcing it to stop and wait for feedback, just like you would with an intern?
Precisely. You review those 3 themes. Then you might tell it, okay, ignore theme 2, focus heavily on theme 3, and now pull in this separate PDF of our competitors' pricing. Then you feed that synthesized data into a system of reusable instructions.
What are those?
They're preset guardrails you've built. So you're telling Claude, you are a senior brand strategist. Whenever you write for us, use a professional but approachable tone, avoid marketing jargon, and always structure your arguments with a clear executive summary.
Wow. So you manage the files, the research, and the workflow iteratively.
Yes.
You're building the scaffolding. That makes total sense. I mean, you wouldn't hire a brilliant intern, lock them in an empty room on their first day, and just yell through the door, "Do my job!"
Exactly.
You would give them your previous reports, you would explain the overarching goal, you'd review their first draft, give them red lines, have them refine it. You are actually managing a process.
And that managerial skill is what yields high-quality results. It is a highly capable assistant, but it absolutely requires a skilled human manager to direct its focus.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me, though. This co-working methodology isn't just a generic template for, like, corporate office workers. The article details how Anthropic has customized this curriculum for radically different sectors of society.
You're right. They really branched out.
They have specific tracks for educators, for students entering the workforce, for nonprofit professionals, and for large-scale enterprise institutions. I mean, think about the radical difference in those use cases.
It requires an entirely different vocabulary depending on the field.
Exactly. Take a nonprofit professional who is trying to stretch a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
They might use Claude to analyze 5 years of messy, unstructured donor data to figure out which zip codes they should target for their next fundraising drive.
Which requires a hyper-analytical, data-driven approach.
Right. Contrast that with a high school teacher who is using the AI to help design a dynamic syllabus for a history class.
Yeah.
One that, aligns with specific state standards while incorporating current events.
Completely different task.
It proves that AI is this ultimate shape-shifting tool. The blank text box looks identical to both of them, but the language of fluency changes entirely depending on the job.
Which brings us to the article's core definition of AI fluency.
How do they define it?
Armani defines it as the ability to use these systems responsibly, efficiently, and strategically.
Okay.
But a massive component of this, perhaps the most critical one actually, is the human ability to evaluate the machine-generated outputs based on the unique standards of their specific field.
Ah, right.
The AI might generate a brilliant-looking syllabus, but only the human teacher possesses the domain expertise to know if it's pedagogically sound for a room full of 14-year-olds.
You are listening to the AI World Podcast, your trusted source for the latest innovations, insights, and trends in artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and decentralized technologies. Each episode features expert interviews, engaging discussions, and in-depth analysis of how AI transforms industries worldwide. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest articles and exclusive reports from the AI World Journal, covering everything from emerging technologies to industry breakthroughs. For more news, global events, and access to AI World Society circle gatherings, visit us at aiworld.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the AI revolution with AI World Lounge. Thank you for listening.
Holy.
And the nonprofit worker has to know if the data insight actually aligns with the nuanced reality of their local community.
So the human isn't rendered obsolete at all. The human's role just shifts from staring at a blank page to directing the flow of information and acting as, the final quality control check.
Yeah.
But for Claude to actually be this adaptable, for it to seamlessly analyze a nonprofit's 10,000-row CSV file, or help a teacher map historical events to state standards, someone has to build the invisible plumbing behind the scenes.
Yeah, the infrastructure.
Right. We can't just talk about the front-end users typing in prompts. The deep dive here requires us to look at the developers and the enterprise systems powering this massive shift.
And that is the crucial backbone of the entire AI economy.
Yeah.
Armani dedicates a significant portion of the article to Anthropic's highly technical training programs aimed directly at software developers and enterprise architects.
The builders.
The builders. These are the people tasked with building AI-powered products, integrating Anthropic's models directly into custom applications via the Claude API.
So what does that training actually cover?
It covers how to manage prompts at an incredible scale, how to deploy features reliably, and crucially, how to prevent the model from hallucinating when it's integrated into a company's core software.
And there was one technical concept mentioned in this developer section that I really want to make sure we highlight because it fundamentally changes how these systems operate.
MCP.
Yes. They specifically talk about training developers on something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP.
Right.
So what does this all mean? Because if you aren't a software engineer, Model Context Protocol sounds like absolute impenetrable jargon.
It really does, but its function is actually quite intuitive once you break it down.
Okay, let's try an analogy for this one.
Let's hear it.
Think of standard, out-of-the-box AI, like a brilliant researcher who was permanently trapped in a padded room with a tiny slot in the door.
Okay, a padded room.
Yeah, and you slide a piece of paper with a question through the slot, and they slide an answer back out.
Right.
They only know what they learned before they were locked in the room and whatever you write on that piece of paper. The Model Context Protocol is essentially installing a secure window in that padded room that looks directly into your company's filing cabinet.
That perfectly captures the mechanism. Without MCP, if you want Claude to analyze your company's live inventory, a human has to manually export the data from the inventory software, copy it, paste it into the chat box, and then ask the question.
Which is incredibly inefficient.
It is.
And prone to errors.
Exactly. What the Model Context Protocol does is establish a standardized, secure bridge between Claude and your external structured data sources.
Like your company databases.
Yes. Through APIs, developers can give Claude permission to reach out and query your databases directly.
Wow.
So instead of you pasting data, you just ask, what were our top selling units in the Midwest last week?
And it just knows.
Well, Claude uses the MCP to essentially reach out to your company's inventory software, pull the real-time data itself, analyze it, and bring the structured answer back into the conversation.
That's wild.
It breaks the AI out of the chat box and lets it actually touch the internal tools a business runs on.
It essentially has hands and a library card to your company's data.
Yes.
But this raises an important question, right?
Yes. Oh, definitely.
Because the second you give an AI a library card to start digging through your company's internal databases, you introduce massive, terrifying challenges regarding data security.
Yeah, security is a huge issue.
You cannot have employees accidentally feeding sensitive company financials or proprietary source code into a public web browser.
No.
We all remember the stories from a few years ago of engineers pasting proprietary code into public AI models, only to realize they were effectively handing company secrets over to train the next public version of the model.
Which is the ultimate nightmare scenario for a chief information security officer.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
And it's exactly why Anthropic's educational content for enterprises heavily focuses on deploying Claude through major cloud providers rather than just using the public website.
Right. The article highlights integrations with Amazon Bedrock on AWS and Vertex AI on Google Cloud.
Yes.
Explain the mechanism there. How does AWS or Google Cloud solve that data leakage problem?
It comes down to creating a walled garden.
A walled garden.
Right. Large corporations need to integrate AI deeply into their internal tools, but they need an absolute guarantee that their proprietary business data will never be exposed to the open web.
Makes sense.
And more importantly, that their private data will never be used by Anthropic to train future public models.
Ah,
Platforms like AWS Bedrock and Google Cloud Vertex AI allow a company to spin up a private, sandboxed instance of Claude. It sits entirely within the company's existing virtual private cloud.
so the AI is essentially brought inside the company's secure perimeter, rather than the company's data being sent out to the AI.
Precisely. The training Anthropic provides here is about showing enterprise architects how to build and maintain those secure, fenced-off environments.
Okay, I'm tracking.
It ensures that when an employee uses that powerful hands and library card MCP functionality we just talked about, the data never leaves the building.
Right.
It's about securely scaling deployment across 10,000 employees without compromising a single line of proprietary data.
It's building the walled garden so everyone inside can play safely with the most powerful tools available.
Exactly.
It's really fascinating how holistic Anthropic's approach is here. I mean, they aren't just releasing a model and walking away.
No, but at all.
They are training the everyday worker typing the prompt on how to manage the workflow. They're training the developer on how to wire the API connections through MCP. And they're training the enterprise architect on how to secure the vault.
Yes, the whole ecosystem.
It brings us right back to our original point. The AI skills economy is not some abstract future concept. It is actively happening all around us, and it impacts you, the listener, directly right now.
Whether you are a student drafting research papers, a director trying to optimize a nonprofit, or a software engineer building the next big enterprise app, this shift applies to your daily reality.
And the barrier to entry is dropping fast. With those free certifications sitting right there at anthropic.skilljar.com, literally anyone can start learning today. But the harsh flip side of that reality is that the baseline expectation for your AI literacy is rapidly rising.
Yes.
Very soon, not knowing how to construct a reusable instruction set or manage a task-based workflow will be viewed the exact same way we view someone today who doesn't know how to attach a file to an email.
It'll just be expected.
Yeah. And before we wrap up, I should quickly mention that the article notes that for those looking for even more foundational knowledge before diving into workflows, the AI World Journal offers something called the 101 AI World Encyclopedia of AI.
That's a great resource.
It breaks down all these key concepts and emerging technologies for people just trying to get their bearings.
Having those foundational resources is vital. But as we synthesize all of this, the co-working courses, the data protocols, the enterprise walled gardens, there is a profound underlying shift taking place that Armani touches on at the very end of the piece.
Oh, yeah.
It stresses that organizations increasingly need employees who can evaluate machine-generated outputs. And I want to leave you with a thought to mull over as you build your own AI toolkit.
Let's hear it.
If we are truly entering a world where the AI does the heavy lifting of generating the actual work like writing the bulk of the code, drafting the 50-page grant proposal, doing the brute force analysis of the spreadsheet, will the most valuable human skill of the future no longer be creation, but simply taste, judgment, and editing?
Wow.
We have spent centuries valuing human workers primarily for their ability to generate content from scratch.
We have.
Now, the economic premium might entirely shift to our ability to look at a machine's output and say, this is good, but it lacks the specific empathetic nuance our community needs, or this is structurally sound, but it lacks the creative spark to be great.
Right.
It's a fundamental reimagining of where human value lies in a workflow.
That is a wild paradigm shift to process. But, it brings us right back to the grand piano in your living room.
Yeah.
Maybe in this new economy, the AI is the one physically pressing the keys, playing the complex chords infinitely faster than human fingers ever could.
Mm-hmm.
But you are the conductor.
Yeah.
You still have to know the tempo. You still have to understand the emotion of the piece.
Absolutely.
And crucially, you still have to know what a beautiful symphony is actually supposed to sound like. Because if you don't have that taste and that judgment, it's all just noise.
A conductor with an infinitely capable orchestra at their fingertips. You just have to learn how to lead it.
You just have to learn to lead it.
The future of artificial intelligence is unfolding, and it's happening at AI World Week, the flagship global event for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This flagship global AI event is designed to connect visionary leaders, trailblazing entrepreneurs, and influential thinkers to explore the endless possibilities of AI. Experience groundbreaking technology that redefines industries and inspires progress. Join thought-provoking discussions on ethical AI, digital equity, and the transformative role of technology in our world. Build meaningful connections that catalyze innovation and drive impact. AI World Week is powered by AI World Society, a global movement dedicated to advancing AI responsibly and ensuring it serves humanity. Together, we're shaping a smarter, more inclusive, and equitable future. Continue your journey beyond the event with the AI World Journal, offering expert insights, in-depth analysis, and the latest trends shaping the AI landscape. This is your opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world with AI. AI World Week. We invite you to join us and embrace the AI revolution.